Hey guys, back with another video, and today I'm going to be going over a tournament that's probably the most controversial. At least I think it's at least like top 3 or 5, because this tournament was so controversial because of refereeing stuff, of national team stuff, and I'm going to be going over the tournament and that was very controversial. Yeah. And this tournament is the 2002 World Cup held in South Korea and Japan. Now, the World Cup was held in 2002 and it was held in South Korea and Japan. Mostly though, like in Japan, but there was some also in South Korea. It was very controversial because of the refereeing. Now, before we get onto the refereeing stuff and that, the group stages I'll go over to just tell you guys how the tournament went on. So, in Group A, it was Denmark who finished first, Senegal finished second, Uruguay finished third, and France finished fourth. Yes, France finished fourth. Then, in Group B, it was Spain, Paraguay, South Africa, Slovenia. Group C, it was Brazil, Turkey, Costa Rica, and China. China actually made it to the World Cup. In Group D, it was South Korea, USA actually, and then Portugal, Poland. Portugal didn't make it out of their 2002 World Cup. Also, that happened in 2014. Fun fact, against USA. But yeah, South Korea were the real team that had a lot of controversy, but we'll get on into that a bit later. Group E, you got Germany, Ireland, Cameroon, and Saudi Arabia. Group F was Sweden, England, Argentina, and Nigeria. Yes, Argentina got knocked out. And fun fact, this World Cup, Marcelo Bielsa, I think, coached this World Cup for Argentina. Fun fact. Group G, Mexico, Italy, Croatia, and Ecuador. By the way, if you haven't watched my Croatia video, watch that video. Group H, Japan, Belgium, Russia, and Tunisia. So another team that was hosting makes it through, and they beat Japan, and they beat Belgium, so which was pretty crazy in their group. So yeah, and now we go on to the knockout stages. The knockouts were Germany, Paraguay, Mexico, USA, Spain, Ireland, was it Spain? Yeah, it was Spain, Ireland, South Korea, Italy, Denmark, England, Brazil, Belgium, Sweden, Senegal, and Japan, Turkey. So now we'll get on to the knockout stuff and the really spicy part. Because, okay, so the beginning was less controversial. Germany beat Paraguay, expected. USA beat Mexico. I don't think I was very happy. Spain beat Ireland on penalties. And then here's the controversial part. South Korea versus Italy. Yeah, if you want to know something, the refereeing in that match was absolutely terrible. That match was terrible. And you want to know something? There was 400,000 complaints in this match of refereeing. 400,000. That's a lot of complaints for refereeing. In Italy versus South Korea. And it resulted in 400,000 complaints. The match ended 1-1, but then in extra time, South Korea got the goal. And the player who did score that was playing in Serie. The player who scored the goal to win for South Korea against Italy, he was playing at Italian Serie B side Perugia, and he actually got released by them, and because he scored the game-winning goal against them. So yeah, just to tell you, so remember, 400,000 complaints in one match for Italy versus South Korea. Now, South Korea somehow beat Italy. That's already one part. Spain versus South Korea was maybe even more controversial. And so the game ended on penalties. South Korea won on penalties. But Spain were disallowed 2 goals. 2 goals in overtime. Wait. Yeah, they were disallowed. They were very controversially disallowed 2 goals. And, like, unless it's 2 obvious handballs, then why are you disallowing 2 goals? Unless it's, like, obvious that he handballed it or he obviously tackled him or something like that. It was, like, a very bad tackle. Then fine. But, like, it wasn't even, it was fair goals, and the referee was just, like, not allowing it. And, like, it's just, like, why are you doing it? And, like, what is going on? Because if the refereeing are doing that badly, then there's got to be something. Because how is that happening? You can't be having these probably inexperienced referees doing that stuff. The match ended 0-0. By the way, my bad. It was 0-0. Spain were disallowed 2 goals. They had 2 goals disallowed. They would have won 2-0, but they were disallowed 2 goals. Ended 0-0, and South Korea beat Spain on penalties 5-3. By the way, on the other side, Japan had lost. So Japan lost in the round of 16 versus Turkey, and Turkey would actually go on to finish 3rd place in the tournament, beating Senegal but losing to Brazil. And Brazil will win the whole World Cup against Germany in the final. But it was definitely more South Korea who was more favored than Japan, because Japan got knocked out, and South Korea played Italy and Spain. Japan only played Turkey, and I know Turkey was pretty good that tournament, but Turkey's definitely was probably not better in Ireland. Was probably not better in Italy or Spain. So that's already very controversial. Like, if Japan is losing to Turkey, then how is South Korea beating Italy, and especially like that form? South Korea though will lose to Germany in the semifinals. They lost to Germany 1-0. Semifinals in Seoul. So it was in South Korea's capital of Seoul. South Korea though lost, and Germany would go on to play Brazil in the final. Brazil would beat Germany 2-0. South Korea would go on to the 3rd place match. They lost 3-2 though to Turkey. And Turkey actually had one of their players, Hakim Sukir, had the fastest ever goal in a World Cup or even like a tournament with like 11 seconds or something like that. So yeah, I just told you guys the 2 most controversial matches, which were Italy versus South Korea and Spain versus South Korea. Yeah, those matches were so controversial, and after, like, apparently, like, the referees were from, like, Ecuador and from, like, Iran or something like that. How, like, you gotta be having the best referees in a World Cup, and, like, if you're putting those referees from like random places, I mean, like, countries that don't have the best referees, like, you want the best referees from England, like Italy, who have experience to probably refereeing at the World Cup, but you're getting these random referees. Like, what is that? Like, really, what is that? Like, and like, it's still one of the most controversial World Cups. It is the most controversial World Cup, one of the most controversial tournaments, and like the fact that South Korea will make it to the semifinals. Yes, it's a great story. It's a great story that South Korea were able to make it. Like, the group stage wasn't that controversial. They were in a pretty easy group. I think it was a USA, Portugal, and Poland. Yeah, it was USA, Portugal, and Poland. And they didn't lose a single game. They still drawed. But if you want to know something, So, France, the World Cup champions from 1998, they played them in like 2001 before the tournament. They won 3-2. But if you want to know something, like the year before, like in 1999 or something, they beat South Korea 5-0. And then South Korea come and lose 3-2. Like, if a national team has that big of a, like, going from losing 5-0 to losing 3-2, and apparently even the French players said that those players were, like, so fast, and, like, I was actually reading something before this video, that the French players said that they thought the South Korean players were literally, like, different, because they had played them just, like, a few years earlier, and they beat them 5-0. And then they're saying how the South Korean players are so good now and get 2 goals against the world champions. That's like something a little over the line. That is really not good, because, well, it's a little suspect. Because, like, if that's happening, then you gotta, like, take into account this national team, because you gotta see how they're doing, because, like, that's such a big difference from, like, in the 2-year period, then you gotta, like, investigate, because, like, there can't be that big of a difference. Like, I know, like, maybe, but, like, there just can't be that big of a difference. There's no way that one team is going to go from 5-0 to 3-2. That's not going to happen. That doesn't happen in 2 years. So, yeah, they really have to investigate it. And apparently, like, one of the referees got caught doing something, like, a few years later, which just showed how much more the tournament, it was terrible. Like, the refereeing was terrible after, because they found that one of the referees was like taken or something like that, and it's still like how's one of the most controversial tournaments in history, and like all I can say is that this tournament was an absolute, like, shambles. Like, the refereeing was shambles. The games were okay, but, like, again, South Korea, they didn't even. I'm not even sure if they made the World Cup in 1998 and then making the and then finishing 4th. That's a little. Well, again, like, you need to investigate that. And what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is very controversial? What I've just been talking about, how this team is literally, like, doing, like, these crazy things, and they only had just, like, made it. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is also very controversial? Maybe you guys can see for yourself what you guys think, because they beat Italy and Spain, but Spain got disallowed 2 goals, and in Italy, they got, like, a red card and, like, 2 red cards for stuff for, like, not even out of their control, and the referees were terrible. If you see, because, like, the referees did stuff that were definitely in favor of South Korea, and which is just, like, not right for a World Cup. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys liked learning about the 2002 World Cup. If you guys want to learn about more stuff, then you can look up. And I hope you guys like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya.